Today's episode starts with a simple question. Have you been able to make the HRIS platform switch? We're talking Skillset. You worked in Oracle HCM Cloud, and then you moved to Workday. You're working on Workday, and then you've been able to move to a UKG shop.
Can't be done, huh?
The switch?
The switch.
Can't be done.
I wonder.
Welcome to the HRIS Careers Podcast with your host, Troy Wallace, a podcast for human resources information systems professionals to help you elevate your HRIS career. We always say no one gets into HRIS on purpose, but it sure is interesting to find out how they did. We interview your HRIS peers to find out how they got tricked into the industry and what lessons and tools they use to progress their careers along the way. We discuss industry trends, AI, and even talk candidly about all the most popular HRIS platforms. Just think of it as the closest bar just outside the entrance of your favorite HR technology conference. Now you get it. Welcome in. This could apply to any number of platforms. In my career, I started in kind of an ADP PeopleSoft platform and then moved and got a little Lawson exposure, then in Taleo, now in Oracle HCM Cloud. So it certainly isn't exclusive to just the big two or three, talking SuccessFactors, Workday, and Oracle HCM. The problem in general reminded me of the clip you just heard from an episode of Seinfeld called The Switch. Now, in this case, Jerry was trying to make the impossible switch of dating his current girlfriend's roommate, certainly a different problem.
I see.
So as you can see, I've got a bit of a problem here.
Well, if I hear you correctly, and I think that I do, my advice to you is to finish your meal, pay your check, leave here, and never mention this to anyone again.
Well, if you're a Seinfeld fan and you know the episode, you probably know where I'm going at this point. It sounds like it should be pretty straightforward. After all, we're HRIS professionals. Learning technology is kind of what we do. So why does making that switch sometimes feel nearly impossible?
Do you realize in the entire history of Western civilization, no one has successfully accomplished the switch?
So all this got me wondering, maybe HRIS professionals, maybe we have our own version of the switch. Only ours maybe involve job postings that we rifle through looking for the right fit for that next HRIS career move instead of dating. So, I'll admit something. I've been in a consulting career, kind of independent, for the last 10 or so years. But I do keep my eye out for interesting director level. It's very rare to find a vice president level HRIS position, but I'm on the lookout. I'm really looking for just that right industry fit, something that I'm really interested in. And so, I'll go through LinkedIn like anyone else, and I'll walk through them. And of course, most of my recent career is in the Taleo applicant tracking space, and then that's morphed into being more aligned with the Oracle Cloud HCM space. And obviously, I've led implementations, managed teams, partnered with executives, worked through integrations, reporting, security, governance, organizational change, all the things that need to be done to lead an HRIS function. I'll see an interesting director of HRIS position. Company sounds great. Role sounds exciting, leadership opportunity, really what I'm looking for if I was going to go and make that switch. And then I read one line, 7 years of Workday experience required. And I'll be honest, that's usually where I stop reading. Not because I don't think that I could learn Workday. I certainly think that I could. I think I could be successful in the position. Just, I'm simply assuming that the organization, if they're putting that in their posting, is looking for someone who already knows Workday inside and out. So I quietly close the browser and move on.
No, we can't do it. Who are we kidding? It's impossible. It's true. You can't do the switch. Nobody can do the switch. It was a stupid idea to begin with.
So maybe just like Jerry, who thought it was impossible, you've done the same thing that I have. But it made me start asking a few more questions. Am I really right about this? Or am I eliminating myself before the hiring manager ever gets a chance to even look at my resume? Honestly, you don't know. But here's the thing. I completely understand why organizations ask for platform-specific experience. If you've already spent years working on Workday, you're probably going to get up to speed faster than someone who hasn't. It's certainly a fair point. But I also wonder whether, especially at the director level, we sometimes place too much emphasis on the software and not enough on the actual profession. Think about what HRIS leaders actually do. Develop technology roadmaps, build relationships with HR, payroll, finance, and IT, lead implementations, managing vendors, overseeing integrations, governance, developing teams. Those responsibilities don't just disappear because the logo in the upper left-hand corner of the software changes. The navigation may be different, terminology might change a little bit. Obviously, configuration screens certainly look different, but leadership, architecture, governance, integration, reporting, change management, those all definitely transfer. So the platform matters, but it certainly isn't everything. I certainly wonder if we've unintentionally started defining ourselves by the software we use. I'm a Workday person, I'm an Oracle person, I'm a SuccessFactors person, Dayforce. But what if we're really looking at this the wrong way?
The point is, I intend to undertake this, and I'll do it with or without you. So if you're scared, if you haven't got the stomach for this, let's get it out right now. And I'll go on my own. If not, you can get on board and we can get to work. Now, what's it going to be?
So I've never heard of someone introduce themselves as an Excel professional. They're a financial analyst who happens to use Excel. Maybe we're HRIS professionals who happen to specialize in a particular platform. There's a subtle difference, and I do think it matters. And now I know there's plenty of listeners out there saying, it's certainly not that simple to make the switch, and you're probably right. There are some real differences between platforms. There are unique capabilities. There are years of experience, and they certainly have value. So I'm not arguing that software-specific expertise isn't important. It absolutely is. I'm just wondering whether we've made the switch seem harder than it needs to be. Maybe organizations are overlooking outstanding HRIS leaders because they haven't used one particular platform. Or maybe experienced HRIS professionals like me are taking ourselves out of opportunities before anyone else does. Maybe it's a little of both. So now I have one question for you. Have you made the HRIS platform switch? Did you go from Oracle Cloud HCM to Workday, Workday to Dayforce, SuccessFactors to Oracle, UKG to ADP product? What was your experience? Was it easier than you expected, harder? Did someone take a chance on your broader HRIS experience? Or are you still trying to make the switch? I would genuinely love to hear anyone's story who's willing to share it out there, because I have a feeling this is a conversation a lot of HRIS professionals are having with themselves. So if anybody's willing to share their stories, either through an email, troy.wallace@HRISCareers.com, or if you're willing to come on the podcast, if you go to HRISCareers.com/podcast, there's a little form there you can fill out. I would love to hear from any listeners that have actually made the HRIS platform switch. There is a rare occasion where I've had clients that have moved, surprisingly, from Oracle HCM Cloud to Workday. And obviously, some of their resources were going to get retrained. I also worked at a company that was an Oracle HCM Cloud shop, and their HRIS leader moved to a different company. It was Workday, and he took a lot of his people with them. I'll see if I can find a couple of those folks to be on the podcast. Any stories that are out there that you're willing to share, you can fill out that form, or just hit me up at the troy.wallace@HRISCareers.com. Is anyone out there willing to be my George Costanza?
All right, damn it, I'm in.
I couldn't do it without you.
All right, let's get to work.
Thanks again for listening to the HRIS Careers podcast, and we'll see you next time.